Hey, y'all, I'm Levi Jones. I'm the founder and head coach of Guerilla Realty, and I want to talk about a quick answer to the question of how to get real estate leads. Seriously, if I was desperate for a quick deal now, I would use the 1% rule and instantly access the real estate deals that's already happening. The 1% rule is simple. At any given time, about 1% of your sphere of influence is buying or selling. Now, that's new for 2026, by the way. 3 years ago, it was nearly 3 times that. But what that means is that if you know 100 people, then there is absolutely someone among your friends that is moving right now. These are people that know and like you already. And it's an easy sale, but who is it? Now, if you don't know the answer to that already, I'm going to give you a simple email and text sequence that is going to help find them today. And remember, Guerilla Realty is an actual real estate team operating out of North Carolina, and we've actually tested the ideas we teach, so this isn't theory. We do a full webinar on how to get real estate leads from your sphere. We call it the lead surfacing message, and you can access it for free by clicking the link in the description. It includes the exact messages, how we execute it, as well as all the tools you need to find the 1%. And it answers the immediate question of how to get real estate leads. All right, we're going to first talk about how to avoid being what we call a pop-by predator. Most realtors already know they should stay in touch with their sphere, so I'm not telling you anything new, but the problem is that old school strategies feel fake. Nobody wants to become the awkward, hey, I'm just checking in realtor who randomly shows up with a pumpkin pie hoping for a referral, or who sees someone in church who immediately makes a beeline away from them. So first, let's talk about how to stay top of mind without becoming a pop-by predator. Look, I'm not the first person to suggest that you reach out to your sphere, but the reality is we all avoid it because it feels manipulative. It feels manipulative because it is. Think about it. All the traditional methods say, oh, have the happy birthday talk, and then you fake some small talk for a little bit, and then you ask for referrals. And it creates a lot of resistance because people know, your friends and family know when the conversation is really about just getting business. So we want to flip that on its end with our lead surfacing message. That's what we call this playbook. And there's nothing special about it, but it works on the basic psychology of people. So lead surfacing message is very low pressure. We're not asking them, hey, who do you know is buying or selling? We're giving them value. It's value first. And it's relationship safe. In other words, we can reach out to someone without turning them off, making them feel manipulated, etc. With this lead surfacing message, we can be very direct without it being a bait and switch or something like that. And it's all based on permissions that they're going to give us. Now, here's what you're offering. You're offering a free valuation. You're offering a better MLS search. You're offering lender access and useful information. They can either take it or leave it. You aren't begging for referrals. Hey, who do you know? And when you do it this way, you can instantly access the people that are buying and selling within your sphere of influence. So here's the good news. You probably know enough people to generate multiple closings a year from your sphere alone. The problem isn't that agents don't know enough people, it's that their database is scattered, incomplete, and disorganized. So we're going to talk about how to build a real sphere the right way. All right, so this part's really easy, but it's important. So we're going to make a list. It's very simple, of all of our family, our friends, acquaintances, as well as all of our past clients. Now, ideally, we want this list to be at least 100 people long, but some of you are like super outgoing extroverts. Your list might be 250 or 500. In other words, there's probably more deals in there for you. But we're then going to upload it to a CRM. What CRM? I don't care. Any of these are fine. You probably have access to one of them. If you're a real estate agent that works for a box brokerage, they probably give you one of these CRMs. It really doesn't matter. But the important part is that you go ahead and tag them with family, friends, past clients, because we're going to treat them slightly differently. And we want to go ahead and have them organized when we upload the CRM. Okay. Then we're going to segment the list even further. Among that list, we're going to have homeowners and non-homeowners. Again, this is going to be important because it's going to be how we approach that person. What message do we send them? We're also going to segment it with friends and family. And then finally, and this isn't so much important for this, but while you're in here doing the work, you want to go ahead and segment it to inner and outer circles. Inner circles typically small. These are your ride or dies. These are the people that would help you move and wouldn't need payment. Your outer circle are people that you're friendly with, that like you, but they don't necessarily get to watch your kids when your wife is in labor. Okay, you guys get the idea. But go ahead and segment it to inner and outer circles, and then we want to make sure we have the phone number and email address of all of these people. Okay. Again, you probably have a lot of this information. We're just making sure we have it organized inside of our CRM. Again, what CRM? Doesn't matter. Here's a list of some of the ones that you could use, but yours may not even be on this list. These are just sort of the most popular in the real estate space. So here's the meat and potatoes. At any given moment, roughly 1% of your sphere is either buying, selling, investing, or quietly thinking about making a move. The challenge is not creating the demand. It's identifying who's ready right now. So let's walk through the exact lead surfacing message that gets people to raise their hand without pressure or awkward sales tactics. All right, so let's get into the messages. First, we're going to segment, again, we already segmented our list to homeowners. These homeowners get one email, they get one text message. Okay, we're going to send this sequence of one email plus a text just to make sure and sort of double tap them. And then we're going to send a separate email and text to non-homeowners. Again, this is important. We're going to send a different message to each group because the value that we provide has to be different. So for homeowners, the first message that we're going to send them, and the subject line is very simply their address, and it's going to say your home value. And we're going to say, hey, friend, or, you put their name. How have you been? I like to do this once or twice a year. When I remember, property values have changed a lot in these past 6 months. So I'm offering all of my friends and family a free professional valuation on their home. If there's even a tiny chance you might move in the next 6 months, or if you're just curious what 123 Main Street is worth, this will be useful. The valuation method I use is extremely accurate. There's absolutely no pressure or strings attached. You won't be obligated to use me as your agent. Again, value first. We're gonna offer them something that they're interested in. Now, some of your lists are gonna go, nah, not selling, not curious, don't care. Some of your lists are going to, particularly ones that are potentially thinking about selling, you're immediately going to identify them. And then instead of saying, hey, send me this list of all the stats about your house, we're going to reduce the friction, and we're going to give them an easy link to our instant CMA page. And says, if you'd like to know what your home is worth, you can get an instant estimate here. And then we insert the CMA page, and I'll follow up with a professional valuation so you know exactly where you stand. Now, this part's important, the instant CMA link. I'll explain more how this works in a minute. Again, you don't have to have exactly the CMA link. You could have some sort of Google form with the information that they can put in. But this, I'll show you, it'll become clear why this method is really useful for us. And this instant CMA link is part of our Pipeline Pro Tools package. Then we send a text message because a lot of people don't read their email. Hey, just checking in. I'm doing a free home valuations for my friends and family again. I do this a couple of times a year since prices keep changing. No pressure at all. It's just helpful if you're curious what 123 Main Street is worth. Here's the link to get your instant estimate. By the way, I sent you an email too. That's it. You send them the email and the text, and you will identify the people of the homeowners that are potentially selling their house. Isn't that exciting already? Before you even see the instant CMA page, isn't that exciting? All right, so here is what our instant CMA page looks like. We send them to this link. All they have to do is put in their property address. So they start typing it in. Google gives them some choices. And then it says, hey, we're finding this property. It asks them if it's the correct property. And when they say, yes, get my instant valuation, or if it's not correct, sometimes it has a trouble. Rarely, but sometimes they need to update some details of what's publicly available. But most of the time they just click yes, get my instant valuation, and it immediately gives them a value. Now, that value is an estimate based on the publicly available estimates that are out there. We sort of average them together, and it gives them the quick estimate. Now, it tells them this estimate should not be used to price your property. It talks about why it's inherently unreliable, and then it gives them the opportunity to opt in to a professional home valuation. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why do I give them the opportunity? Why do I give them a number at all? Again, it's about reducing friction. And you may remember, we don't have their contact information yet. We don't know who this is. We just know an address. But here's the cool part. Whether or not they opt into the professional property evaluation, and a lot of them do, we get a lead, because as soon as they put in their address, we've now been given enough information to look up the homeowner information, and we know name, phone number, email address of the person that is getting their property valuation. Again, this is not only a way to get the lead, and my face is in the way here, so let me see if I can. There we go. But you get the lead, but you also get to see how serious they are. If they want the professional valuation, they'll let you know. But everyone else, just, we at least get hands raised from our sphere of influence. Okay, so now we move to the non-homeowners list. These are people that are renting, living with their parents, whatever the case may be. And we're going to give a different piece of value for these people. Okay, so we tried to find the sellers among our homeowners list. Now we want to look for the buyers from our non-homeowners. So this is the email that we sent. We say buying, ? Hey, John, I hope you're doing great. I like to do this once or twice a year for my friends and family who might be thinking about buying a home. If there's even a tiny chance, a 0.1% chance you might be buying in the next year, I've got 3 free things that can really help. First, I can set you up with a direct MLS search. It's way better than Zillow because it shows every listing in real time straight from the source. Second, I can connect you with a great lender who can do a soft credit pull and get you pre-approved, no obligation, no commitment, just to see where you stand. Those are the 2 things, by the way, that buyers want, particularly early on in the buying cycle. So we're just offering them that out of the goodness of our heart. And we're trying to identify who those buyers are. Remember the 1% rule. And then we say, if either of these would be helpful, just hit reply and say yes. We don't ask for tons of information. We remove the friction by just asking them. We even give them the reply back that we want if they're at all interested. Then again, we double tap, we hit with the text as well. Quick question. I try to reach out to my people 2 times per year. Or as I remember, will you be buying a house in the next 6 to 9 months? If there's even a 0.1% chance you might, I can set you up with the free MLS search. That's way better than Zillow. And I can connect you with a great lender who can do a soft credit pre-approval. No commitment to ever use me, of course, just good info. Want me to send you the link? Again, we're asking them a direct yes or no question. That's important because that's how we get actual replies, and we don't get, oh man, I'll do this later. You start asking them for tons of information up front, that's what they're going to reply with. Now, the 1% rule says, hey, out of 100 people, we're going to get at least one person raising their hand saying, hey, I'm buying, I'm selling. Again, if you send that to 100 people today, that's what we're looking at. This is an incredible way. It's an incredible answer to the question of how to get real estate leads, because you probably already have them. You just need to know who they are. Final piece of the puzzle. We're going to repeat it twice per year. Okay. We're not going to hit them up every week or every month. If you do it twice per year, you're going to go ahead and put it on your calendar. You're going to do it this week, and then you're going to do it again in 6 months. So this week and then November timeframe, you're going to do it again, and you'll get every deal in your database without becoming a pariah, without having people turn around when they see you in church because, oh no, he's hitting me up for business again. Hey, we're offering value. We're making it relationship based. And ultimately, the people know that you're a real estate agent and know that you can offer value. That's how you're going to get the deals among your sphere of influence. I'm going to issue a challenge. Go and execute this with your sphere today. find the 1% and get a deal in the pipeline. Then drop us a contact or let us know how it went. Remember, if you want our private webinar, the full hour one on the lead surfacing message, including all the tools, the scripts, and the exact messages we send, just click the link in the description. Now, if this content is helpful for you at all, we would really appreciate a like and subscribing to the channel. We do 2 videos a week, and we don't want you to miss it. We'll see you next time.